HoloNetAudio.com. This is fan fiction only. The Celebrity Roast of Jabba the Hutt by John Damocles Smith. Before the cameras rolled, the studio broadcast a black screen with the introductory notice.
Disclaimer. The opinions expressed within tonight's viewing are of the guest speakers and not of the network, and is not intended to cause offense to any of our viewers or the public. However, it is guaranteed to offend tonight's guest, Jabba the Hutt.
The cameras rolled, displaying the Intergalactic Celebrity Roast logo and the applause from the audience. The guest host for the night, Lando Calrissian, appeared from the left side of the stage, waving to the audiences and greeting them with his winning smile.
Welcome to tonight's special episode of Intergalactic Celebrity Roast, featuring none other than the mighty, or so he says, Jabba the Hutt. And now, here is tonight's guest host, Lando Calrissian.
Hello, what have we here? What an excellent audience. Good evening to you all. I'm Lando Calrissian, Baron Administrator of Cloud City at Bespin and Intergalactic Super Stud. I'm truly grateful to be here tonight, although I can't say the same for Jabba down there behind me. I never thought I'd see it happen, but there he is. Talk about a role reversal for this vicious gangster. Now I'm sure you're all eager to see the next part of the program. No, not that slimy piece of worm-ridden filth you know I'm talking about. The first guest in the panel. Lando raised his microphone. Captain Han Solo. Lando pointed out his arm as Han Solo emerged from the right side of the stage. He sat down. Lando remained standing and stood closer. Han, old buddy, I'm glad you could make it.
I wouldn't miss it for the galaxy. I have a lot to say about Jabba that I usually wouldn't if the circumstances were different.
Jabba, you've got a lot of guts coming here. They both laughed with the audience. Let's tell all of our viewers, shall we? Jabba still said nothing, but the silent snort was caught easily by the cameras and audience alike.
Well, let's start with the obvious. We all know that Jabba here is a slimy piece of worm-ridden filth.
Yeah, old buddy, Jabba's such a slimy piece of worm-ridden filth that I bet his rancor wouldn't eat him.
Lando, I've read somewhere that Jabba is hairless due to several diseases.
Is that so? Lando nodded. I never knew that.
Hey, did you think that he got that way by waxing?
No, because there's no way that his entourage could possibly take all that away from bulk as big as his.
Yeah, but I'd say it's an improvement, because at the time, Jabba was so hairy that the only language he could speak was Wookiee.
Chewbacca showed up on stage, laughing, and sat next to Han.
Yeah, laugh it up, fuzzball.
Jabba's such a slimy piece of worm-ridden filth that even Oscar the Grouch rejected him as a guest in his trash can.
Yeah, Jabba's such a slimy piece of worm-ridden filth that he couldn't set himself on fire to burn off any extra calories.
Solo, you scoundrel.
Those who saw Lando on camera noticed that he thought of something which was obviously not in the script. Hey, Han, do you know why Tatooine is a desert planet? It's because Jabba's such a giant slimy piece of worm-ridden filth that his farting caused global warming. Jabba scowled, almost pounding the table with both hands.
Lando, do you remember Salacious Crumb, Jabba's monkey lizard?
That small creature with the laugh?
Yeah, every time I go to Jabba's palace, Salacious is always near him, in front of, next to, above, or something. But there's one thing I don't get.
Han turned to tonight's guest of honor.
Jabba, look at you. You're so big. Salacious is so small. So tell me, how does he manage to avoid being sat on by you?
Salacious Crumb suddenly appeared by leaping upon the table and stared at Jabba.
Oh no, not you too.
Lando turned to the closest camera. All right, everybody, the fun isn't over just yet. We'll be right back with more, that is, more of Jabba than the Sarlacc's taste buds could handle after these commercials.
Next, on Celebrity Roast, Princess Leia Organa and Jedi Master Yoda and 3 surprise guests.
Dopo di Rolia! I am Wacky Watto and I have great big deal for you! At Wacky Watto's, we have the largest selection of spare parts and used appliances on Tatooine. Holovid projector start at 29 whoopee whoopee. Hyperdrive motivator start at 100 whoopee whoopee. Not even local Jawas can keep up with our ever-expanding inventory. How about a Jawa juicer for 15 whoopee whoopee? No get me wrongo. I like my customers. We only accept real money, not worthless Republic credits. That way, you know you're getting a good deal. No funny business. No money, no parts, no deal. Wacky Watto wants your business. Especially since I just lost a slave. I'm going crazy. So come see what we have to offer before Watto loses anything else. I bet heavily so you get the best prize. Poodle. Wacky Wattos. All terms subject to HUD approval at time of purchase. Accessible location only.
Welcome back to tonight's Celebrity Roast. Please make welcome Princess Leia Organa and Jedi Master Yoda. Lando walked behind the wide desk and pulled out the seat for Leia, then returned to standing in front of it with his microphone ready. Now, how are you doing, Leia? You look great.
Never better, Lando. I only wish I could say the same for Jabba here. He's still looking much more disgusting than the scruffiest nerf herder I've ever seen.
Hey.
I see what you mean, Princess. Now, you have a story to tell our audience, the one about a secret meeting with Jabba at Hoth.
That's right, I do. It happened before Echo Base was built. We had only the basic necessities before we could set up warmer shelters. When Jabba came, we had the coldest weather the whole galaxy had ever seen that day.
So tell us, why did you leave the doors open? You could have let Jabba inside and kept more of the heat in.
We did let him in.
So why did you leave the door open?
We had no choice.
What do you mean? Is it because he couldn't fit through the door or something?
No. We stayed cold because Jabba's body is so long that his tail finished coming in 10 minutes after he did.
Although not visible, the audience could tell that his tail banged behind the panel.
We would have closed the door sooner if his tail wasn't 12 parsecs long.
Go kiss a Wookiee princess.
With Leia's anecdote done, Lando moved over to Yoda.
600 years old Jabba is. So old that I am wondering why his name is not in hieroglyphs it is.
Speak for yourself, Jedi slime. You're so old that writing wasn't even invented anywhere in the galaxy.
Yoda was unfazed. In fact, he was visibly amused.
When 900 years old you reach, Lucas Slim, you will not.
I know, Master Yoda, but that's because Jabba is so fat that his ancestors evolved from a ton of lard.
Yoda laughed.
I'd say a ton of lard 12 parsecs long.
Jabba repressed a roar just in time to silence himself. Yoda addressed Lando.
Jabba's so fat and long that when in school he sat next to everybody he did.
Princess, you heard that because Jabba's so long that they used him as a dam at the Dune Sea.
Are you serious? What use is a dam anywhere on Tatooine anyway?
Maybe it's because they tried to find a way to have his slave girls ultimize themselves for that day.
Waste of time. It's better that they use him in some other way. He's so big and long that he'd make a great roadblock for the pod racing.
Is that what you think of him?
Lando, we at the Rebel Alliance know better. We don't think of him at all.
Lando dropped the microphone after laughing. Yoda used the Force to float it back in front of him.
Speaking of pod racing, Jabba's so stupid that when I told him that the Boonta Eve pod racing was just around the corner, he actually went out of the palace to take a look.
I know he's that stupid, because his palace is round, so where are the corners?
Lando, did you know that Jabba's so stupid that he thought Darth Maul was a shopping district?
Maybe it's because the advertisement said everything reduced by half.
Lando, to the audience you look. Noticed I have, Jabba. A change in his entourage he has since last time.
He had no choice, Master Yoda.
I know. Take a good look at him. That's because he ate the last one. Lando heard the director speak to him through his earpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our next guests, and boy, do they have a few things to say. I present to you Grand Moff Tarkin, Lord Vader, and a man who needs no introduction, Emperor Sheev Palpatine. The three emerged from the opposite side of the stage, from where Han, Chewbacca, Leia, and Yoda had come. Some booing could be heard from the front row of the audience, but that was until Palpatine blasted them with his dark side lightning. After Palpatine's act, another voiced disgust. The Emperor smirked.
Looks like I missed just one.
Then Darth Vader force-choked him as the three made their way to the panel. Lando showed them to their seats. Tarkin remained standing to present his anecdotes about Intergalactic Celebrity Roast's hapless victim.
We all know Jabba. We know him well. I'm sure that all of you in the audience are already learning a lot more about him than he'd be proud of. Many Imperial officials have met Jabba. I myself have seen him many times, but every time we had a meeting with Jabba, I never needed to...
Tarkin held up his finger, pointed into the air for emphasis.
And I say, never once did I ever need to turn around to know that he had just entered the room.
Tarkin paused briefly.
This is because I'd recognize his foul stench as soon as he'd arrive.
Hypocrite.
Did you know that Jabba is so heavy that he's the true reason why the Death Star blew up Alderaan?
How so?
We didn't actually use the super laser. No, that's not how it was done. It was Jabba's weight which anchored it to the planet.
Do you have anything else to add, Governor Tarkin?
I do. I heard that Jabba's so fat that they needed Tatooine's entire GPS system just to take his picture.
Then Tarkin sat down.
Master Yoda had mentioned that Jabba is 600 years old. This I find difficult to think about, because tonight he looks just like he did 500 years ago. Ugly.
Speak for yourself.
Lando moved to where the Emperor was seated. The viewer could see that he thought of something else which was not in the script. He spoke in a mock whisper. Your Highness, do you know why Jabba the Hutt is also referred to as Jabba the Hutt? The do in Jabba the Hutt is not Huttese, but actually Intergalactic Standard Basic.
Is that so, Calrissian?
Yes, it stands for Definitely Ugly. Jabba's sudden, loud interruption caught Lando's attention just as much as anyone else's.
What do you mean, Jabba the Hutt? It is don't, not do. Get it right.
Lando looked like he was having trouble improvising. He slowly turned to the audience. So, what does that stand for? Jabba said nothing. Of all the times you met Jabba, which is your most memorable?
It is the time when Jabba enlisted into the Imperial Infantry.
Did you say enlisted?
That's right, Calrissian.
And tell us what happened.
I said, aren't you too wide to be a stormtrooper?
At least I can shoot better.
Did you know that Jabba is so ugly that the reason why everyone joined Facebook all of a sudden is because he joined MySpace?
Are you sure that it was me? You seem to think highly of yourself.
Jabba, have you seen the Hobbit trilogy? Great movies. Fortunately for you, it's a good thing that you are not in any of them. Otherwise, you'd be the only character making the Goblin King look handsome.
Oh yeah? You don't look a day under 5,000 yourself.
Darth Vader interrupted.
Jabba, at moments like this, I'd usually force choke anyone who talked to the Emperor like that. That is, if I was able to.
Jabba couldn't see where this was going, but he knew that he definitely wouldn't like the next thing that the Dark Lord would say. This time, Darth Vader addressed the audience instead of Lando.
As you can all see, it is because that Jabba is so fat that his neck is wider than his head. That's the reason why I can't force choke him.
Have you ever tried, Lord Vader?
There is no try. But that's because no Force user could strangle anyone with a neck 12 parsecs wide.
Your Highness, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen you this happy.
Yes, it is not often that I get to roast someone who's uglier than me.
The audience howled, laughing in disbelief at the Emperor's honest words toward Jabba. Lando pressed his earpiece to listen to another message from the producers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another message from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back with more of Jabba, if at all possible, and our mystery guest.
Are intense battles wearing your lightsaber down? Or do you ever find yourself in a situation where sudden maintenance is required and you have little time before your assailants are coming your way? Having difficulty keeping your weapon clean because you had to fight your way out of a sarlacc's belly? Who knows? Maybe you accidentally dropped it into Bantha Poodoo. As any Force user understands, we all want an easier way to keep our weapons clean.
Greetings, I'm Jedi Master Damocles. Like any lightsaber professional knows, multiple opposition and intense battles can give your lightsaber quite a workout, which is why I use Yoda, the secret to my success. There's no other lightsaber polish like it in the whole galaxy.
This is an actual demonstration.
Simply hold down the spray, let go when satisfied, and the formula does all the work by itself. Look at that, even the toughest particles fall away. And see here, even the most stubborn stains have vanished without harming the original paint job.
Nothing comes close to Yoda. No leading brand can compare. Even one's most determined opponents agree that it's powerful stuff.
All right, men, watch out for that lightsaber. Freeze! Don't move. What? The hilt is brighter than the blade. I can't see the
target. What's the difference? Even if you could, you guys can't shoot a thing anyway.
Yoda, the #1 brand in lightsaber polish.
Usage of this product is illegal within Imperial territories.
Welcome back to tonight's Intergalactic Celebrity Roast. We have now reached the point where we will meet our mystery guest. Oh yeah, do we have more good juicy details about Jabba coming up this time? Let's all make welcome Bib Fortuna. After Jabba's major domo made his appearance and took his place on the stage, he addressed not Lando, but the audience, almost as if he was about to protest about the jokes made about his employer.
Throughout tonight's episode, I've heard every terrible thing each of them said about my master, the mighty Jabba. All I can say to that is, congratulations. They couldn't be more accurate. And this includes the ugliest details. Well, here's more. We were on a transport on Coruscant. Jabba said to a little boy, "Why don't you be a gentleman and give a lady your seat?" And the boy replied, "Why don't you be a gentleman and give 20 ladies your seat?"
The audience laughed longer than in any part of tonight's program.
At the end of the day, Jabba and I were on a cruise ship, the ancient luxury types with floats on water just like the times before repulsor technology. We were there to negotiate a deal with a supplier. After the deal had been done, the ship's captain approached Jabba and said, Jabba, the ship is unbalanced and sinking into the water on the one side. Then Jabba responded, "Well, there's only one way to do about it. You can't expect me to jump overboard." The captain said, "No, we want to move to the middle."
Lando improvised. There's a saying, how does it go again? Give someone an inch and they think that they're a ruler. Well, give Jabba an inch and he'll be exactly 12 parsecs. He and Bib Fortuna laughed.
They say that Mos Eisley is full of this scum and villainy. Well, that's true. Only the difference tonight is that only one of them is here on tonight's show.
Pointing his head to Jabba as he still looked at the audience. Jabba pounded the panel with his great strength. It's a wonder how it didn't shatter. Everyone became stunned into silence, and then Jabba roared with fury.
This has gone far enough. Bring me the producers of this program. They'll pay for this outrage.
The mighty Jabba slithered away and disappeared into the side of the studio.
It's not over yet.
Was the only thing breaking the silence, except for the next thing that Lando had to say.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
For the next few minutes, mumbling could be heard among the audience. Reports of viewers calling the station from their homes came through. Answers to their questions started to be read out live. Suddenly, all cameras ceased filming. Everyone watching the program from home or anywhere else could see only a blank screen and eventually heard the sound of a huge explosion.
Due to technical difficulties, the network is unable to continue transmission of any more programs until further notice. We apologize for any inconvenience caused.
The celebrity roast of Jabba the Hutt featured the voice talents of Megan Neesink as Princess Leia, Jim Cullum as Bib Fortuna, Joe Mignano as Lando Calrissian, Yoda, Emperor Palpatine, and the main narrator. Artificial intelligence was used for the remaining characters. If you enjoyed this audio production, consider joining the new forum linked at HoloNetAudio.com. There, you can post your own fanfiction and even submit your short family-friendly fanfic for audio production. Rules apply. Thanks for listening. For more Star Trek and Star Wars audio fun, visit HoloNetAudio.com.